Did you know that your thoughts create your reality? So what you have in your world is what you've created through your thoughts. Did you also know that what you think about yourself gets projected out into the universe and gets sprung back right at you in the form of people, events, situations, obstacles, you name it? That is what we're going to talk about today. So before we do, I'm Natalie, and this is As the Pennies Drop. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, where I will be notifying you of when I'm posting, which is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, so I'm going to start by reading this quote to you by Carl Jung. And he says, "Seeing in others what we won't admit also lies within," is what Carl Jung calls projection. So what we're doing is when things show up that we don't like, it's basically a projection of how we're feeling about ourselves. So that could be with people, that could be with events, situations, and anything, whatever that is showing up in our world that we don't like, we're basically not wanting to see it in ourselves because it's hidden so deep down. We probably don't even recognize that it's even in us. And we're attracting that because of what we genuinely feel about ourselves. Now, the reason why we don't know that this is actually what's happening, so when you see something in somebody you don't like, that it's generally a feedback that that's actually in you and it's something you need to work on. The reason why we don't necessarily see that as a part of being inside us is because it's so deeply rooted and buried in our unconscious mindset. Now, our conscious mind and our unconscious mindset basically control how we think, feel, act, speak, what our beliefs are. The unconscious part of it is massive, and it's all based around repressed feelings, behaviors, patterns, hurts, pains, anything dysfunctional, anything basically negative. And we have gone throughout our lives thinking that it's easier just to bury it. It's easier just to forget and move on. It's easier just to not think about it and move on. It's easier just not to kind of talk to anybody about it. It's just kind of just forget it's there. And what we're basically doing is we're repressing these feelings, these hurts, these pains, these embarrassments, this guilt, the shame, whatever it is, in whatever situation has shown up that you've not wanted to deal with, that's caused hurt and pain. We've buried it deep within us. So you imagine like an iceberg. So you have the top of the iceberg, but you know, under the sea, the iceberg is even bigger. So our unconscious mind, where we're holding all of this, where we're storing all of this repressed energy of hurt, pain, shame, guilt, embarrassment, whatever that is massive. And it's our unconscious that is basically controlling our lives. And I can honestly say it controlled my life, to massive degrees, where it came to money, work, loving relationships, friendships. It absolutely controlled the way I viewed myself. It controlled me completely. Thankfully, from having coaching and continually doing the work, I work on that every single day. Now, we're not looking to get rid of that unconscious mindset. We're looking to get a balance with that, with the conscious mindset. Basically, we're looking to create awareness of what's actually happening within. So if something is showing up, or someone is showing up in your life that you don't like something in somebody, whatever that is, you basically, that is going to be what you're feeling deep down inside of you. You're just not aware of it because it's buried so deep. And this is what Carl Jung calls the shadow self. Now, doing work with the shadow self, so the unconscious mind, which is where we have stored all of this repressed feelings, hurt, pain, behaviors, patterns, is what you need to do. So the shadow work is what you need to do to release this, to be able to live a functional life without reacting and being triggered by situations and events and people that are showing up in your life, because you're aware. So it's a process of gaining awareness of how you're feeling, of what your unconscious mindset is doing to you. Fundamentally, it's actually controlling you. So how do we go about changing that? What is the process of being able to stop these things showing up in our life that we don't want, or being able to manage these things that are showing up in our lives that we don't want, and how we respond to that? And that again it's through a process, and that process is through it's through deep coaching. And you basically start by becoming aware of, or observing, the trigger or the hurt and pain that is being caused in whatever incident that you're in at that time. So whatever's happened and you're feeling triggered and you're feeling pain and hurt or anger or upset, what you're doing is basically holding that. You're taking a step back, and then you're going to basically look at what the situation is. Just look at what the situation is. You're opening up your eyes to a pattern that has been created through the repressed hurts and pains and feelings that you've been holding on to. And all because you're looking to protect yourself from any more hurt and pain. But in actual fact, by reacting and being triggered is causing you more hurt and pain to then be stored into your unconscious mindset, into this pool of repressed feelings, and then the cycle goes on. So basically what we're doing is we're looking to identify and observe how we're feeling in a situation when we're feeling triggered. So we look at that, and we can take a step back from that and go, okay, so this has happened and this is how I'm feeling. So say for example, it's just I'm feeling really hurt and I really want to scream and shout at this person. So what you do is go, okay, well, where does that feeling come from? When did I first feel like that? And you'll basically end up going backwards towards your childhood as to when you first felt that pain and hurt and discomfort. And what it's showing you is that you've basically been controlled by an event that happened when you were young that's created a pattern, a program, as it were, that is continued to follow you throughout your life and to hold you back from having the life that you want. It could be a not good enough feeling, or it could be that, you know, somebody said that you were thick and stupid when you were small, and somebody now has just undermined your intelligence, and that has created a feeling of rage, then you want to react. But when you take a step back and breathe and observe the situation and understand where that's come from, so you can look back to where that's come from, you'll realize that actually it's not that person that's causing the pain, it was the initial situation. And what's happened is the programming of that initial situation when you were young has just continued throughout your life. So now you know that, what you then can do is start working on releasing it. So it's understanding why you're feeling the way you're feeling, understanding that you're feeling what you're feeling, then understanding why you're feeling the way you're feeling, then understanding what would be the best situation, what would be the best outcome of the situation, and working through that to get that outcome that basically leaves you not feeling hurt or pain or anger, shame, guilt, or having reacted to that person or situation that's shown up. So that's basically what doing the shadow work actually means. Now, what you basically need to understand is that when you react, when you have been triggered, it's not your fault. We do have to take responsibility for how we feel, how we act, how we show up in the world, you know, but it is not your fault. It is from a program of embedded, repressed feelings that you've not been able to understand how they've got there, or understand that they're even there, that you haven't been able to work through that, to not be triggered, to not react. So I just want to make that really, really clear. It is not your fault that you have been programmed in a particular way. That's completely out of your control. But if you're aware that you are being triggered by people, situations, and you're reacting, whether that's externally reacting or internally going in on yourself, reacting, like really beating yourself up for things mentally, and punishing yourself, then I just want you to know it is not your fault. It's okay. And once you realize that this is happening, there is so many resources out there that can help you. I really was holding on to so much hurt, so much pain, all from my childhood. And that carried throughout my life, into my relationships, into friendships. You know, I would put up with things and I would just hold it in, and I wouldn't speak up. Or then sometimes I would speak up and I'd lose my shit, basically. I'd get so upset, but it wasn't that person's fault. It was because of the programs that I was basically working with. It was the code that had been coded in my mind that I was following. And I've been working diligently to unleash that, so I can have a life that I truly love, desire, and deserve. And I'm on my way. I mean, I've got so many amazing things in my life now that I wouldn't have thought possible, like even maybe 2 years ago. So it's proof, and you can reverse this. It can be corrected as well. With the right help, with the right guidance, it can absolutely be corrected. So if any of this has resonated with you, or if you're somebody that gets triggered really easily, or you're holding on to so much hurt and pain, or things happen and you just can't control your reaction, then I'm available for coaching, and I've been there, so I know how it feels. And I can honestly say one of the first things is, do not beat yourself up. It's okay, and it can be corrected as long as you want to do the work. So I am available for coaching, and all my contact details are down below. And I'd be more than happy to help you, more than happy to help you, because this emotional reacting, the shadow self, the repressed feelings, the not being able to speak up in a way where I was heard, is massive, absolutely massive part of my life, and what was holding me back from pushing forward. Yeah, so I really hope that's helped. And like I said, please feel free to comment below as well. I'd be really interested in understanding what your thoughts are on the shadow self and repressed feelings and triggers. So yeah, I look forward to hearing from you soon. So you take care. Bye.